The package materialized on Nancy's doorstep with the telltale shimmer of quantum delivery, 3 months later than promised. She dragged the surprisingly heavy crate into her workshop, her heart racing with anticipation. For 2 years, she had saved every credit from her asteroid mining job to afford this beauty. A genuine Shenzhou prime excavator, one of the most advanced alien mining vessels in the known galaxy. "Daniel, get over here," she called through her comm link. "It finally arrived." Her friend and business partner materialized moments later via personal teleporter, his eyes widening at the massive crate. "No way! The actual Shenzhou Prime? Nancy, we're going to be rich!" Together, they pried open the container, and Nancy's excitement evaporated like water on Mercury. Inside sat what could only be described as a child's toy. The spaceship was barely 3 feet long, constructed from what appeared to be cheap polymer plastic, with hand-painted details that looked like they'd been applied by a drunken Zentari. This can't be right," Nancy whispered, pulling out the miniature vessel. It weighed almost nothing. A paper manual fluttered out, covered in squiggly galactic standard that had been poorly translated from some obscure alien dialect. Daniel picked up the manual, squinting at the nonsensical instructions. "Congratulations on purchase of mini-alien Shenzhou Prime Excavator Spaceship. Please to insert human operator for maximum function. Warning, do not feed after midnight. Side effects may include dimensional transcendence, temporal looping, and excessive awesomeness." "I paid 40,000 credits for this garbage," Nancy said, her voice hollow. 40,000 credits. Wait. Daniel was examining the toy more closely. "There's a cockpit here. And look, these panels actually open." He pressed a nearly invisible seam, and a section of the hull swung open, revealing an interior space that seemed far too large for the exterior dimensions. Nancy leaned in, her engineer's mind catching up. The inside glowed with a soft bioluminescent light, and the walls were covered in what looked like living circuitry. That's not human technology. That's not even standard alien tech. "Daniel, I think this might be dimensional compression," they said in unison. Her anger transformed into curiosity. Nancy had heard rumors of ancient civilizations that could fold space itself, making the inside of vessels vastly larger than their exteriors. But those were myths, legends told in spacer bars across the galaxy. Yet here in her hands was something that defied conventional physics. "The manual says to insert human operator," Daniel said slowly. "Nancy, you're not actually thinking—" But she was already climbing in. The cockpit adjusted around her like a living thing, the walls flowing to accommodate her body. The moment she settled into the pilot's seat, the entire vessel hummed to life. Holographic displays erupted around her, showing star charts, mineral compositions, and navigation data in a format that somehow made perfect intuitive sense despite being entirely alien. "Nancy," Daniel's voice sounded distant now. "What's happening?" She could see him through the cockpit window, but he looked frozen in time, his hand extended toward her in slow motion. The workshop around them began to dissolve, replaced by the vast darkness of space. No, not space. Between space. The quantum foam that existed in the gaps of reality. The ship's AI, if it could be called that, spoke directly into her mind. Not words, but pure meaning. It had been waiting for someone with the right combination of desperate hope and practical skill. The Shenzhou Corporation, it explained, had gone bankrupt 3 centuries ago. Their last desperate act had been to compress their entire flagship excavator into dimensionally folded miniatures and scatter them across the galaxy as toys, hoping someone worthy would find them. "You have been evaluated," the presence informed her. "You saved for 2 years. You did not choose the easy path. You earned this." Reality snapped back. Nancy found herself still in her workshop. But the miniature ship in her hands was different now. It had expanded slightly, its surface no longer cheap plastic, but living metal that rippled with possibility. Through the cockpit, she could see infinite corridors, mining arrays that could tear apart asteroids, and engines that could fold space itself. Daniel staggered backward, his eyes wide. "You were gone for 3 seconds, but that light show... What just happened?" Nancy climbed out, her hands shaking with adrenaline and revelation. "The mini-ship? It's not a toy, Daniel. It's a test. And we passed." She held up the vessel, which now hummed with barely contained power. "This thing can full-size itself. We just need to take it to open space." 20 minutes later, they floated in orbit above Earth in Nancy's beat-up shuttle, the miniature Shenzhou Prime floating in the airlock bay. Nancy initiated the expansion sequence she now instinctively understood. The tiny ship began to unfold, not growing, but unfolding, like a paper crane in reverse, revealing the true dimensions that had been compressed into that impossible space. Within seconds, a vessel 300 meters long occupied the space around them, gleaming with technology that made Earth's most advanced ships look like stone tools. Daniel floated beside her, speechless for once, as they stared at their new ship through the viewport. The real Shenzhou Prime. Not a replica, not a downgrade. The actual flagship of a dead civilization waiting for someone stubborn enough to see past appearances. Nancy activated her comlink to traffic control. "Orbital command. This is Nancy Chen. Requesting registration for mining vessel Shenzhou Prime, recovered alien craft. You're going to want to send your Xenotech team." As the confused responses crackled back, Daniel started laughing. "You bought a toy spaceship online and got a legendary starship. That's the most human luck I've ever seen." Nancy grinned, running her hands over the neural interface controls that now felt as natural as breathing. "Not luck, persistence. We earned this." She paused, then added with a smirk, "Though I should probably leave a review. 5 stars. Packaging could be better, but the product exceeded expectations. Would recommend." The Shenzhou Prime's engines hummed to life, ready to tear apart asteroids and reshape their future. Sometimes the universe rewarded those too stubborn to quit, and Nancy had never been a quitter. Their mining empire had just begun.